This is Poland Daily Business, and if you watch us in Australia, you cannot join us on Facebook. At least that's the news that are coming from down under. Jerzy Bielewicz, Gazeta Bankowa writer and financial analysis, our guest. Sir, is the power of Facebook, Google and so on bigger than power of the national governments right now?
At least, yeah, it is bigger, I would say. You can see the situation in the United States when those big tech companies they kind of play fake news and kind of influence politicians, or even they can get them off there, and it's huge power. It looks like they'd like to replace justice, executive and legislative powers because of their huge influence. And some countries can, like to defend themselves from this influence, and Australia is a good example. Not that recently ago, Google threatened Australia that it would switch off its services, and Australians decided so be it, and we would go with Microsoft. But it's another tech giant, with a very controversial owner.
But are those services provided by Google, by Facebook, so valuable that countries cannot live without of them? I mean, I hardly can imagine that the services provided by Facebook are so essential that country can be, that national government elected with popular support can be blackmailed by. You just mentioned the person who is blackmailing the whole country of Australia.
I would say that they are very, very important, and I don't see any reason. The virtual internet, virtual reality, the e-commerce, it's huge at this point. After we introduce 5G technology, this high-tech and internet connections would replace many, would have a great role in many new sectors, for example, mobility, cars, and it's huge money in it because it could be cost efficient. So actually, I would suggest that we should treat the virtual reality as, for example, we have some experiences how to regulate the sectors like this. For example, air traffic. We have different countries, different aims for those countries, and conflicting interests.
Very good example, but let me add that as far as I'm concerned, I don't think that anyone will die with no Facebook access.
Yeah, but it's quite, e-commerce, the Facebook, it's so rich right now because of e-commerce, and that's the news part is just part of it. It's kind of where they exert their powers, yeah, but not. The similar situation is in commerce and in production, because if you are not playing together with those big high-tech names, You may not sell your shoes or your TV sets, and the sales are on this e-platform. And it was even a bigger issue during the pandemic. So that's the world evolves very quickly right now, and those high-tech companies are important. But I would say we should consider that it's this virtual internet infrastructure is quite the same as electric grid, for example, or other strategic infrastructure.
But there are many owners of the data centers, of the connections and so on. And my guess is that if someone will leave the prominent position it has earned in a virtual world, there will be at least 2 or 3 eager companies to replace that position. So the Facebook, if the cutting off Australia will take more than few days, we will definitely see services that are very similar to Facebook ready to take its place down under, and maybe the same concerns Europe and United States, who knows?
And we go back to infrastructure. Example is quite known in the States when those services, this internet services were switched off for one of the companies that use them. There is this Facebook as you know it, and there is an infrastructure of Facebook, so computer centers that and cloud technology, which enables other players. And I'm talking about this infrastructure that enables competition in virtual reality. And it should be an interest of countries that those big tech are playing a big role in.
Jerzy Bielewicz, we will see whether down under people in Australia will feel the lack of Facebook, and it will be concerning for them very much. I don't think so. But we will see. Anyway, if you don't like Facebook or Twitter, you can always log into albikla.com, and that's our Polish alternative to those services. That was it for Poland. That was it for Poland Daily Business tonight, and please join us tomorrow, same time, because we will be back for sure.